Hey guys, in this video we're going to cover how to create a gated reverb sound in Cakewalk by BandLab. As an example, this is the sound we'll be creating in this video. I'll switch between the normal and gated reverb sound. Before continuing on this video, make sure you're familiar with how to use Cakewalk by BandLab by watching our full tutorial series on this DAW. Even if you're not planning on using a gated reverb sound, this is a good way to practice using sidechain effects and sends in Cakewalk by BandLab. So it will help us to become more familiar with some advanced techniques in the software. First, let's start with our drum sound, and we'll focus in on the snare track since that's what we'll be applying the gated reverb to. Start by right-clicking on the snare track to duplicate it. We'll rename this duplicate track Gated Reverb. On the gated reverb track, add a reverb plugin. Then we need to make sure the reverb is set to 100% wet. After that, we add a gate to the track after the reverb in the effects chain. Right now, this gate is set up to activate by the reverb sound only, which is not what we want. That will cause the reverb to be delayed, because then the gate opens when the reverb level reaches a certain volume instead of the initial snare strike, and that's later than the initial snare strike. To get around this, we need to use something called a sidechain gate. This allows a noise gate to open in response to a sound level on a different track, in this case, the original snare track. Right-click on the dry snare track to add a new send with it directed to the Sonoda's gate on the gated reverb track. Now it's set up as a sidechain input so the gate will respond to the dry snare instead of the reverb snare when it opens. Adding a send instead of changing the output to the dry snare track also ensures it still goes to the master channel so that we hear the dry track. If we just set the sidechain input as the output of the dry snare track, then we would just hear the reverb without the dry snare as well. Next, we want to adjust the length and fade on the gated reverb sound. This isn't done by adjusting the reverb itself, it's all done by controlling the noise gate. We'll start by setting the threshold so it's reached by the initial snare strike, but not after as it's decaying out. The length of the gated reverb itself is then adjusted with the hold and release time. The hold time keeps the gate completely opened, and the release is the fade out at the end. I usually end up with a release time that's probably about twice as long as the hold, but you can play with that a little. Overall, the gated reverb sound that we create is affected by the original snare sound, the reverb plugin we use, and the settings of the noise gate. Ultimately, what we get with this effect is a controlled reverb tail on the snare sound that is eventually gated, so there's only reverb immediately after the snare is hit instead of all the time. Thanks for checking out this video on creating a gated reverb effect in Cakewalk by BandLab. If this video helped you out, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon to get notifications whenever a new video is released. You can also check the video description for links to social media accounts to stay up to date on all our new content.